In today's video I'm going to show you some of my alarm clocks. I'm not going to cover all of them, only those that are interesting or have a special story behind them. So let's begin. I would like to start with these two clocks. They were made specially for the Romanian railways. On this one, which is the oldest, you can see on the dial it has the letters CFR that stand for Căile Ferate Române, which means the Romanian railways. These clocks were offered to railway employees when they would start their job, so that they can wake up every morning. They were often produced by Gustav Becker or Junghans, but this particular one was made by Mauthe. You can see on the dial, it says Mauthe. Although it has a Junghans B12 movement inside, and B12 refers to the second half of the year 1912. Also, on the bottom of the case, it has the Junghans logo. It's upside down, but it's the Junghans logo. And on the back there is some writing in French. Unfortunately, it has a problem. The hairspring is too short and it runs incredibly fast. And I need to fix it. This one is a little newer. It was made specially for the Sinaia train station. Sinaia is a city in Romania. Here you can see it says Sinaia. And this one runs perfectly, and I am very happy to have it in my collection. Also, here's the back. So let's continue. As we were talking about Romania and clocks made for Romania, here are a few clocks made in Romania. This is the earliest. It was made between 1947 and I think 1960 by a company called Precizia Arad. As I mentioned in my videos, Arad is a city in Romania. And I determined this production date because in the early 1960s, I think, they have changed their logo. No, they changed their logo, sorry. And I'm glad it runs and keeps good time, because these clocks are quite rare. You would be lucky to find one. So, although the paint is not in the best shape, it still runs. So it's a good thing. And moving along, this is a Victoria Arad alarm clock. In one of my videos about the free cuckoo clocks, you might have seen the middle one was made by the same company. This one has 4 jewels, and it actually has a serial number. As you might see, here is the serial number. These numbers, these 5 numbers, are the serial number. This extension is the release date. It's 1965, so that is the year when this design was released. And this is an extension. 68 refers to the production date, 1968. So this clock was made in 1968, but the design was released in 1965. And here is the newest. It was made by Aradora, which is the same company as Victoria Arad, but they have changed their name. It also has 4 jewels. It's in the best shape, almost like new. And this is the serial number, sorry. It has some numbers in there, 97206 and a -80, which means that the clock was produced and the model was released in 1980. These Romanian clocks are not the best quality, but they're quite good too. Here's a bunch of Chinese clocks. They all share the same movement, except this one. It has the same movement design, although the gear ratio is a little modified, because it's the newest. And this is the oldest. It was made by 5 rams. This one was made by Cantona. This one was made by Hofea. And this one was made by me. Yes, you won't see any clock like this anywhere else in the world, because no other clock in the world has a movement like this one. This is a combination between 4 Chinese clocks, 2 of them made by the Diamond Clock Company, 1 by Hofea and 1 by 5 rams. I think I was a little wrong when I said the clock was made by me. I only assembled it. But how did we get here? Well, I wanted to restore a diamond clock, but the case was all rusty, and because it was old, the front plate was riveted in the case, so I had to replace the front plate, and that's why the plates are different colors. The front plate comes from the Hofea clock, as well as the case. But because the clock was old, some of the pivots wouldn't fit in the front plate pivots, because the front plate pivot holes were too big. So I had to replace the escape wheel and the pallet assembly, and they both come from the 5 rams alarm clock. And because I replaced those parts, I needed to replace the back plate too. So the back plate comes from the second diamond alarm clock. And I'm very happy that I got it working. And now I can say this is something unique. Here are 3 clocks very different to each other. This is a Bavaria alarm clock. It's very small. You can actually hold it in your pocket. It has an enamel dial and a cylindrical movement. I'm going to show the movement at the end of this presentation because I think it's interesting. And it's a pretty cute clock. Here is an Ansonia carriage clock with the original box. It's not going at the moment because it has a problem with the motion works. It's one of the oldest desk clocks that I have. Here's the movement from the sides. Also, if you're not very experimented and you have one of these clocks, I highly recommend you not to try and open this up. I tried to open it, and then it cost my mental sanity to put it back together. So you should be very careful with these. And this is a Mauthe desk clock. It's one of the loveliest clocks that I have. I really like this dial design and the beveled glass. On the front it says 8 Tag, which means 8th day. And up here it says Leopold Weil 6 Juni 1935, which means Leopold Weil the 6th of June 1935. So this clock has been given as a gift, probably, to this guy. And now I'm going to open this clock so you can see the movement. This is the small movement. It's very interesting in its construction. When I see it, I think of those early Black Forest clocks with the time train and the strike train one behind the other. It has 2 mainspring barrels. and only one key, because if you turn the key right, you wind up the alarm, and if you turn it left, you wind up the time side. Now I'm going to do a demonstration of the alarm. Oh, there's no more power. Well, hold on. Alright, I put some power on the alarm side, so now I think it's going to go off. Yeah. That would definitely wake you up. And this is the last clock I wanted to show. It's actually the oldest alarm clock in my collection. It was made in the 1870s in France, and you can tell it's very old because instead of a balance wheel it has a very short pendulum. I think it has like 5 centimeters. And it's in very good condition. I removed the alarm hand, as you can see, because the alarm mainspring is broken, but I still have the parts for the alarm hand, so I can reattach it whenever I want. This is the movement. We can see the very small pendulum and the Broco escapement at the top. And I realized I made a very big mistake in one of my videos. In the video about my 3 cuckoo clocks, the middle one, the Victoria one, has a Graham's deadbeat escapement, not a Broco escapement. Here's a side view. And that's about it. If you enjoyed this very long video, please subscribe and leave a like, and see you next time.